Hey and welcome, Hammeh here, and Year of the Dog, Overwatch's latest Lunar or Chinese New Year event, is on its way to us with a dev update sharing a bunch of news about a new map, Capture the Flag changes, and a little bit of news on skins. Here I'm going to be talking about the setting and story of the new map, a roundup of the Capture the Flag changes, a quick speculate as to some of the skins that we could see this year, and the event times and when it's going to be going live on the 8th of February, that's Thursday for you. Firstly, the new map is going to be based in Thailand and it's called Ayutthaya. In the developer update, Jeff described it as being modern in half and temples and ancient in the other half, and you can actually see this if you look up the real-life place. The second capital of what used to be Siam, Ayutthaya was built in 1350 and is now, at its centre, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Strategically located on an island surrounded by 3 rivers, connecting the city to the sea, it was above where the incoming tide of the Gulf of Siam met the outgoing river's current, making it very hard for the city to be attacked by the seagoing warships of other nations at the time. With many countries and organisations around the world having trading outposts at Ayutthaya, including the, for a period, very powerful East India Company, it was a centre of trade and of diplomacy. Although the city was attacked and razed by the Burmese army in 1767 after hundreds of years of existence, it was pretty much burnt to the ground. Noted of what remains are 4 spectacular temples of the early period from 1350 to 1529 among a dense canopy of very, very old trees. Now, west of there is the site of the Royal Palace and the Royal Chapel, which is the heart of this lost city and which is also the UNESCO World Heritage Site. From these photos of the real-life place I've been sharing, we can expect the map to show these prang or reliquary towers where holy relics would have been stored, as well as gigantic monastery-style buildings too. So, with this new specifically designed Capture the Flag map comes some changes to Capture the Flag, and this time we're going to be having a 4-week competitive season for competitive CTF mode, very much like we had for Lucio Ball in the Summer Games. Now, the top 500 will get a special spray and player icon, so time for me from my Team Fortress Classic or 1.5 past, before Steam was a store, to put together a competitive CTF team, I think, for a little bit of fun. Now, as for the CTF changes, when this was released last year and ever since, it's been a mode that has had mixed reception, and the team always said that when they released it with Year of the Rooster last year, it was experimental. As a result, there have been a bunch of changes based on community feedback that have come for this year, trying to reduce the defensive nature that it often took on the old maps, and I'll explain why that's probably going to be less likely in a bit, as well as reducing the chance of a draw and the overall match length. So, as a result, if the games are now tied in Capture the Flag at the end of time, then the flags are going to respawn but closer to the map's centre, so there'll be a shorter capture distance and a shorter attack distance. This should make the end of games, if there is a draw state, faster. The next major change is that flag pickup is now going to be instant, not channeled. As you can see in this video of last year's event that I'm sharing, you had to wait for the flag to be picked up. And the other thing again is that certain abilities that cause, as Jeff said, either invulnerability or great mobility will actually cause the flag to be dropped. We're going to have to work out what these are, but Jeff mentioned in the dev update that Winston's Leap would be one of these, and I expect things like the Tracer Blink, the Farah boost in the air perhaps. Who knows, maybe even the Diva boost as well will all be things that cause this. So as a result, there's going to be a lot of flag running on the ground, and the instant flag pickup means that you're going to be able to get in a lot quicker. Maybe getting out is going to be a lot harder because of the dropping of the flag when you use these mobility abilities. So expect a lot of running of the flag along the ground. Now, the team said that the rate of capture seems to be a lot faster from their internal testing, and the games are a lot more offensive and action-packed in nature. Now, why could this be the case as well? I know a lot of people didn't like the defensive nature of the Symmetra Bastion Torbjorn kind of turtling that used to happen in CTF. Well, I think that this newly designed map, in advance of seeing it, should help with that because the team know that this was a playstyle. Now, because last year the team were adapting Lijiang Tower and existing maps, they had areas in those maps that weren't designed for Capture the Flag and the feel and flow of that playstyle. Take the death pits of Lijiang Gardens and Lijiang Night Market, for example. Those spawn areas where the flag had to be fished out of, the flag spawn points were so tight and enclosed because they were designed for control map gameplay. They weren't designed to be fought in, and as a result could be turtled off quite easily by Symmetras, Bastions, etc. Torbjorns in a very defensive composition. They weren't designed for flags to be fished out of them. So with our new map, I'd expect flag points to be a lot more open on either side and perhaps more of a maze or a lot more cover in the middle of the map when people are trying to run this flag backwards and forwards, perhaps more along the ground. If the flag is dropped when people are using things like Winston's jump pack, then unless that can be juggled between teammates, and that could be awesome, say a Winston jumps in the air, the flag flies up in the air, a Farah then flies to catch it, mid-ability and uses it, we could see people juggling it between them to try and keep the flag in the air. That would be exciting to see. But I would expect the middle of the map to be a bit more covered and complex, and the capture areas to be a little bit more open so that people can get in. Do let me know what you think of those changes in the comments. I've played CTF since the mid-1990s, from the earliest Unreal Tournament games to original Team Fortress, so I can't wait to see how this shakes out. It should be a lot of fun. Okay, skin news. Well, Jeff said that Mercy and Genji are going to be getting Legendaries. We also saw in the thumbnail of the dev update a Widowmaker skin, which looks very much like the kimono style skin that we saw in her spray from last year. So what other skins are we going to get for Genji and Mercy? A very quick bit of speculation. Now, last year when the Journey to the West theme was announced for the Winston, Zenyatta, Reinhardt and Roadhog skins, and if you're curious as to the Journey of the West lore and story, the Chinese folk story, I'm going to be doing a video summarising the lore of those skins in the next few days, so keep an eye out for that. Well, how does that tie to a new Mercy skin perhaps? And I think it might be Mercy because there is a character in Journey to the West that could go nicely with the skins we saw from last year called the Bodhisattva Guanyin. Now, this Bodhisattva came from Indian Buddhism as a superior being who was concerned about the plight of mankind. She's traditionally depicted as a white-robed lady. She's a mentor to the Monkey King, often correcting him or advising him when he went astray, reverted to his mischievous nature, if you're familiar with Monkey Sun Wukong, or needed help. Now, often in Journey to the West, when the party, sorry, getting a little bit RPG there, get in trouble, someone goes to ask the Bodhisattva for help, and she has a smart idea or offers some kind of practical aid. Now, the Bodhisattva Guanyin is also known as the Goddess of Mercy. So, Mercy being all in white, having a flowing robes, could certainly work. She would need to be differentiated from her Winged Victory skin, but I'd be quite surprised if we didn't see Guanyin as a skin, if not this year, then who knows, maybe even next year. It feels like a very obvious fit and a tie back to the Journey of the West skins that have already been shared. What do you reckon? Another alternative that people have really liked since last year would of course be Mercy's parasol outfit, and she's just got a parasol emote, so sticking a skin to time up with that emote would be really, really cool as well. Last but not least, the usual event tips and potential live times. Don't play your arcade games for loot boxes until after the event goes live, because then you can get some free fast loot boxes, and no loot box of course you save before an event will ever contain content from the new event. So if you get normal loot boxes right now, just open them for the credits. And as for what time the event will go live on the 8th of February, that's Thursday, it can be any time from 6 PM or so UK time historically, but most of the time Overwatch updates at 7 PM UK time. Now at the moment that's 12 at noon on the west coast of America, 3 PM on the east coast of America, 8 PM if you're in Central Europe, France and Germany and similar, and on the other side of the world 3 AM on West Australia and 6 AM if you're Sydney, East Australia. So pretty early in the morning. So there you go, the dev update is in the comments below if you want to have a look. Are you looking forward to Capture the Flag and these changes? Do you think that's going to get you interested in the mode? Are you excited for it? How about the Genji and Mercy skins and more? I'm always really excited for Chinese or Lunar New Year, as I'm half Chinese, so really looking forward to seeing what we get culturally and in skins and a bunch more. I'll be covering everything on the channel, so do tune in. I'll be doing the cosmetics a little bit differently this time. I'll be doing a much shorter video because I normally talk a long time and get very, very carried away. So keep an eye out for that, as well as lore on everything to do with Year of the Rooster skins and Year of the Dog and the background to Lunar and Chinese New Year. I'm looking forward to doing some sort of cultural videos and Overwatch lore videos on the background behind those skins. Throw a like, subscribe if you enjoyed this vid. Do let me know what you'd like to see more of, as always in the comments. Big shout out to my patrons on Patreon who help continue making my channel possible. I do have a lot of Overwatch lore planned for this month, so keep an eye out. Cheers for tuning in. I've been Hammeh. Take it easy.